Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, we appreciate you spending some time with us here, supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show. Over 10 years on air now. Real excited about the growth around our company, our team. We're also hiring agents. If you know of any real estate agents out there looking to join a great team, we're hiring full-time agents and growing and expanding, and a lot of good stuff happening. So blessed and highly favored. That is our mantra here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Coming up, Andrew Kube in the house, U.S. Commercial and Business Capital. We're going to talk about SBA loans, startups, how he can help investors, also multifamily, buying multifamily properties, and also fix and flips. How can he fund fix and flip? So many people talk about buying and flipping real estate. We're going to get Andrew and his take on that because he's a broker. He can shop these different types of products out and get you great programs on the commercial side. And, of course, you heard Robert Paredes on the front end. Talking about the residential side. Also coming up later on the show, Capitol Police Chief on Tucker Carlson and this international police relating to J6. There were 71 minutes that transpired that just basically Pelosi was sitting there like refusing to act. What happened there? What's going on? What's Tucker's take? We're going to hear that here in just a few minutes. Before we do, we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air. Strategy helps sellers sell faster for more money, and we'd like to feature our listings. So we've got a property at 9731 San Vincent Way. This owner is super motivated. This is a beautiful property. He just added a beautiful island as well with granite added to the kitchen. You got a whole house remodel a year and a half ago, top down, all the way down to the studs. New roof, high impact windows, new AC, new air ducts, new electrical components, new hot water heater, new appliances. 9731 San Vincent Way, and we just did 2 or 3 price reductions in a row. Owners motivated. 9731 San Vincent Way, one of our hot real estate listings in Port Richey, Florida. 3416 Crepe Myrtle Drive, waterfront beauty right here, bay access. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis, and enjoy this gorgeous property. You got a 2-story home on stilts, 3 bedrooms, 3 bath, 1864 square feet, totally remodeled, beautiful property, well designed, elegantly designed, set up perfectly for a short-term rental. The extra lot next door as well. Have a 50-foot carport for great RV parking as well. 3416 Crepe Myrtle Drive, Hernando Beach. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, quick shout out as well to Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friend of the program. They hooked me up with the vitamin infusion drip going directly into my bloodstream, and they can help you as well. Longtime friends of the show, ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Andrew QB, welcome back, sir.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for having me again.
Hey, my pleasure. Always great catching up with you. I love this niche, too, because outside of the residential, when you deal with some of these other property types, there's not many people that know what they're doing. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been able to help a lot of people out this year just being a resource because they don't know how to, a lot of residential investors don't know how to play in the commercial game, so to speak. And so I have the knowledge to be able to help direct them, not only with how the programs work, but putting them with the best lender to accomplish their end goal, and that's buying the property.
Working as a broker, I think that's a big part of your business model because you're able to take, their particular credit, their income type, the property type, and match that up out of all these different investors you have, all these different lenders, and say this would be the perfect scenario for that particular client.
Yep, absolutely. So I can dig a little deeper in that. So, if I have a client comes to me, for instance, and they want to buy a multifamily property, which is considered 5 units on up. And so if they want to buy that type of property, there's a couple of different ways that they can do the loan. They can do the loan as a full doc loan to where they're providing tax returns to qualify them. That's more of what we call a bankable loan. So they're going to get bankable rates. Rates right now for these programs are in the 6s to mid 7s. So they probably start around 6.5 to 7.5, which is much lower than the residential rates right now, as we know. So buying a commercial property as an investor, even between a 1 to 4 units, it might be better to look at it as buying it in an LLC, because your rates will be about 1% less, maybe a little bit more than that right now.
Interesting, yeah.
But on the multifamily, so I have relationships with banks, credit unions, national lenders all over the country, to where my job is to help that client get the best terms, the best interest rate, et cetera. So if a client comes in and they're more willing to show me tax returns and do a full doc loan, then they're going to get the best rates on the market. If they are not interested in showing tax returns, doesn't mean we can't help them get a loan. Now we're going to base everything off the property that they're buying.
Right.
And that property will have to cash flow in order to do that. Now, let's say, for instance, they're buying a property that doesn't cash flow. What do you do in that situation? Then we can get them a bridge loan. And a bridge loan will usually be for up to 2 years, 1 to 2 years, usually with about a 6-month prepayment penalty on it. And it allows the investor to go in and get money to rehab the property. And this is whether it's a commercial property or a residential property, but they can go in and rehab the property. And what the lender is looking at is, what is the property going to be worth after the rehab is done? And they're going to base their loan based off of that.
The ARV.
Yep.
After repair value.
Yep. And typically, for down payment reasons, if you're going and you're doing a full doc loan, you're looking at 20% down for a multifamily property. If you're doing a DSCR loan, and you're not providing tax returns, you're just providing rent rolls and operating expenses of that property that you're looking to purchase, in that situation is about 25% down.
Debt service coverage ratio.
That's correct.
Dollars in, dollars out.
Yep.
Yep.
And so yeah, there's ways as an investor to buy multifamily property with 20% down, 25% down, but get money for rehab to be able to complete that project, and then come back after you've got it fixed up, rented out, and then get that bankable loan.
That's when you refinance it, pull some equity out, cash out, potentially pull some equity out, pay off that initial loan, and look at your numbers then.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. That's good stuff. So U.S. Commercial and Business Capital, we're talking with Andrew Kube here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Give us a recent success story, or maybe a deal that you've done, in the last, 6 months or so, something that kind of shows, like, hey, here was the scenario. Maybe you've done a refinance where you saved somebody some cash on a monthly payment, or what are you seeing lately?
Well, I have a loan going on right now that I just got approved. The lady was in an SBA loan, and as we know, the SBA 7A program is tied to the prime interest rate.
Okay.
So prime right now is 8.5%.
Wow.
So when you're getting a startup loan right now, or you're looking to get an expansion loan for working capital, your rate's going to be somewhere around the 10.5 to 11% range. That's where you are right now with the 25-year amortization. Maybe 10 and a quarter, somewhere put to 11.5, depending on the risk, depending on how successful your business is. And that's the 7A program. So this lady she owned a dance studio, very successful business, and her rate had adjusted all the way to 11.5%. Her monthly payment was $22,000 a month.
Wow. She
also had $250,000 in notes out there that she was paying about $10,000 a month on. And she also wanted to buy a piece of property for $140,000. I'm sorry, for $650,000 that was right next to her dance studio. She wanted to be able to expand. She runs an incredible business, and she's got a waiting list of people, not only for her dance studio, but for her daycare center that she runs out of there as well. And so what we were able to do is do a conventional loan, get her out of the SBA loan, do a conventional loan. We ended up doing, it was a 70% cash out loan is all she needed. We were paying off over the $1 million loan that she had on her property, paying off the 2 notes that she had that she was paying about $10,000 a month on, and gave her the $650,000. And she walked away with about $500,000, and her payments went down.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, so she saved about $10,000, just over $10,000 a month, and walked away with $1 million.
Man, so refinance, pull that cash out. You can reinvest that cash. I mean, that's your cash. You do what you want with that cash. Bank it, save it, put it in a retirement plan. Dance and daycare. That sounds like a good combination, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we got the younger sibling in the daycare side, the older siblings doing the dance. And, wow, that sounds like a successful business.
Yeah, it's a real successful business. But, so for those people that have business owners that have SBA loans out there right now might be a good time to look at converting that to a conventional loan. 3 years is the magic number typically. There's a step-down prepay on those loans. It's a 531. So if you try to refinance in the first year of the loan, you have to pay 5% to get out of it. Second year is 3%. Last year is 1%. Now, in this lady's situation, she could have, her prepay was over, but even if it wasn't, it was still a huge advantage for her.
Right.
So that's one of the successful stories I've had on a refinance. But, really me helping the clients find a loan in some situation is a success story.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they've been to their bank.
Yep.
They've been to another lender. And then all of a sudden they're like, here I get a call from somewhere across the country and they found out about me. And, sometimes I have to, reach out to a lot of lenders, but these are all lenders I have relationships with to find one of them to help the client out.
Yeah.
And so that's really, to me, saving somebody a lot of money is a success story, but actually helping that client start a new business or helping that client get money to expand their business or helping that investor basically get a loan to build to his portfolio that he wasn't able to find. That's what I do, and that's what I get. I get the most enjoyment out of helping people.
Yeah. So fulfillment, especially when because here's what happens. Folks. A lot of times you think, oh, well, if my big bank on the corner, you've probably all heard me go off on the big banks, right? They took the bailout money from the government. Most of them are woke. These big banks on the corner, right? We go in there, we think, oh, they're the end-all, be-all. No, they're not. They've got very few programs, especially outside the box, none. Nothing like Andrew's going to have. So, Andrew, I would think, it's very fulfilling when you're able to say, hey, here's a turn down. He got turned down twice, credit pulled 2 or 3 times, and now they're coming to you, and you're able to go through your vast resources, all of your different lenders that you work with, all your different investors, and it sounds like a lot of work in a lot of cases. You're making a lot of calls, 20, 30 more plus calls, right? And then you find that one lender that has that niche that says, hey, yeah, we'll look at that file, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. I like that.
Yeah. It was, a lot of, because every lender has a different cup of tea, so to speak. I mean, some of them, if you're trying to start a restaurant, they don't want to deal with hospitality or anything to do with it, where other lenders love that. Yeah. So I get a lot of referrals every month, and I have to place a lot of different loans. So I'm a great resource to anyone out there that needs money for investing or needs money to grow your business.
The money man, Andrew Kube, on the Consumer Quarterback Show. U.S. Commercial and Business Capital. We're going to take a quick break, come back more on the commercial side here with Andrew. But also, I want to touch on this interesting story. I mean, you think about how much has been in the news around J6 and this so-called insurrection. I've heard it called a Fed-surrection, right? A lot of the federal agents in there. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get Tucker's take. Tucker's new show on Tucker on Twitter. Capitol Police Chief interviewed on Tucker Carlson. You're not going to believe what he says. This is shocking soundbite coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty as well. Quick shout out to our friend Ramin Kazami over at Heights Soft Wash, pressure washing company right here in Tampa Bay. Does a great job, all your residential, commercial properties. Heights Soft Wash. heightssoftwash.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. heightssoftwash.com. And a couple of hot listings here. We've got a property at 11722 County Road 672 in Riverview. This is a beautiful property. Could be residential or commercial. And you might say, well, how could that be? Well, this is an interesting property because you've got a single family home. You have a situation where you've got a warehouse that you can store. Of course, in this particular instance, he's storing fruit because he's got a lot of citrus trees on the property. Fully equipped farm at 20 acres. We got a farm for sale in Riverview. 20 acres, just shy of 20 acres. You got 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Beautiful home with a 2-car garage. Expansive 40-foot by 100-foot warehouse right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Beautiful storage facility as well. Refrigerated trailer for a semi. Fully equipped farm, 11722 County Road 672. Check out the beautiful photography compliments of Fabre Frameworks there if you're watching our TV show or maybe our YouTube channel. If you're not on our YouTube channel, you should subscribe as well. Brandon Rhymes Realty on YouTube. But yeah, there you go, Andrew. There's a beautiful property right there. That's kind of a residential / commercial, right? I mean, because you would look at valuing the citrus trees. You got palm trees there, and then of course you could look at it from the value of the land, and then you got a place to live.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you wanted to run that as a business, I didn't catch the purchase price on that.
That one's I forgot offhand. It's right around $2 million.
Okay. So you could actually buy that property anywhere between, if you have a property now that you're running your business out of and you're leasing, you could possibly buy that property for no money down all the way to 10% down, as long as your business operated at least half of that property.
Wow.
That's the rule. So
that's awesome.
If you need it and you're growing something on the farm that you're producing for your business, then in that situation you would qualify for a loan, a business loan, to buy that property opposed to a conventional or.
Awesome options. Thank you for that. Andrew Kube, U.S. Commercial Business Capital. All right, I'm going to get to this national story. This is very important to listen and let your friends know about this. This is the Capitol Police Chief interviewed on the Tucker Carlson show.
For 71 minutes, Pelosi refused to allow you to bring in the National Guard. Why don't we have answers?
It doesn't seem like people really want to get to the bottom of it, and it gets worse from there. I had a conference call with the leaders of all the law enforcement. It was a call I coordinated. Not one person on that call talked about any concerns for the intelligence, the attack on the Capitol that we were seeing that was out there. That's what's scary.
This sounds like a setup to me. I'm sorry, it does.
New Jersey State Police beat D.C. National Guard to the Capitol.
Wait, cops drove from New Jersey before the National Guard could get from the Armory on Capitol Hill to the Capitol. Why isn't this story everywhere?
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a setup for sure, and the more that we hear about the J6 events, it's just disheartening as an American. One, it's enraging as an American. Two, it just shows you the lengths at which these politicians will lie. Pelosi, and it's both sides. I mean, we see rhinos involved with this, with Cheney, for the American people, just think about how much money has been wasted on these political persecutions, and it's still going on now with Trump being indicted the 4th time. I mean, if they're going after this guy so hard, and he's supposedly some type of really hard criminal, seems like something would have come out by now. But no, it's all fake witch hunts, and it's all because the elites and the 4th branch, unelected branch of government known as the deep state, feels threatened like they never thought they would. They never thought this would happen. So it just continues to happen. So they've got to do everything they can to try to disparage his name. I heard one political commentator, Dick Morris, say that he thinks that they're actually going to put Trump in jail and he's going to win from the jail cell. Can you believe it? In the United States, they would actually go that far, and he's going to be elected from the jail cell. I mean, wow. Unbelievable. I hope it doesn't go there. You never know what could potentially happen with these just despicable people in power right now. Unbelievable stuff. All right, let's bring it back local here. So Andrew Kube, U.S. Commercial Business Capital. We talk a lot about the real estate economy and how it plays in. I mean, just for example, residential real estate, commercial real estate, such a big driver in the economy with these rising rates. I just feel like the Federal Reserve, and I understand we got to keep inflation curtailed. We got to do these things there as an economic, but real estate being such a driver of the economy, we've got to do something with these rates. We got to get more activity happening to keep these wheels spinning in America. What's your take on rates and where they might go?
Yeah, I mean, I can't foresee them going up, but it's your guess is as good as mine. I do know that it's affecting a lot of Americans. It's affecting, your business. I mean, we're in Florida, so there's a lot of people moving to Florida, but across the country, the inventory is very low. I spoke to a realtor in Knoxville, Tennessee, where she has friends that are in factories making $80,000 to $100,000 a year, doing wonderful, but they can't afford to buy a home
because of the housing expense.
Yeah,
we were talking about that before the show with Alex. So you've got your overall dollar coming in, a higher percentage of that dollar than ever before in the history of the United States is going to strictly your housing expense, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Yeah, it's all gone up, and why sell right now? If you're a buyer, I mean, if you have a home, and unless you're relocating, you're going to buy $100,000 less of a house, and your payment's going to be the same.
Right.
So
yep.
Until either rates come down or prices come down, I think we're at a standstill.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and then you also have that your eye on this BRICS currency over there, BRICS currency being now pushed, and again, it's all back to our political elites pushing this alliance through Ukraine, this proxy war, forcing Russia and China to be closer partners. And then now they're pushing forward this BRICS currency, which threatens the United States dollar as first time ever as being threatened as the world's currency, the world's reserve currency. Andrew, how do people connect with you?
Best way is 727-296-8650. You can also visit me online at USCBcapital.com. Again, my phone number is 727-296-8650.
And USCBcapital.com?
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff. Hey, learned some stuff today. I learned some stuff. I like that. You got a lot of knowledge around that commercial space. We appreciate you coming in, man.
Thanks, Brandon.
All right, hey, another great show. Robert Paredes, Andrew Kube on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thanks to our producers. And we want you to please go out there, consider committing a random act of kindness. Please go out there and do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And remember, we got to share these stories. We've got to make sure everybody knows about what's happening in our country. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.